What's good everyone, OJ here. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over 5 major changes in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, the brand new DLC and story expansion for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right in. Number 5. Performance and graphics. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when it first launched back in December 2017, had a few performance issues here and there. Overall, the game was still solid, especially when you were playing it docked to the TV, but there was some resolution and some issues here and there when it comes to frame rate in certain towns like Grammat. However, with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, it does seem like a lot of those have been smoothed out, as Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has gotten multiple updates throughout 2018 in order to run better and added in new content. Torna the Golden Country should actually be the most optimized version of the game, and Nintendo has even stated that it's going to run and look a little bit sharper than before. Basing it on the gameplay that I've seen so far, it definitely looks like it's running better, it looks like it's sharper, but I also think that's due to the size of the game, how big Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is, all the different titans that you can go to, and some of the combat options compared to what is in Torna the Golden Country. But at the same time, it's still a welcomed addition, especially if the portable mode is running a lot better. So I did want to let you guys know you should expect a little bit better performance and a little bit sharper looking game in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country. Number 4, aux cores. Now this is something that's kind of like a thank you so much Monolith Soft. You guys finally did this. And yes, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you used to get these things dropped by enemies, or you can pick them up, called aux cores. And basically what they did is that you can grab them, you can head into town, and then you need other types of items to refine the aux cores to equip on your blades. However, with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, that is no longer into play. Whenever an enemy drops an aux core, that's it. You can pick it up right from there. You can equip it right on your blade. You don't have to refine it or synthesize it or do anything else to it. They just drop the aux core straight out. So it's going to be really good for just being able to get right into strategies, get right into action without having to worry about, okay, do I have this item, and this item in order to craft this extra strength during the day, or in order to craft more damage against titans. You can just plop it right there on your blade and be ready to go. So that is a major improvement when it comes to combat flow and what you can do in the game, and just taking away some of the little headaches that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has, because a lot of those aux cores, they need a lot of different materials in order to get them going. You'll need like 15 of them. Some of them are really rare for the higher types of aux cores. So I love the fact that they just dropped all of that and said, you know what, you want your aux cores, you got them. Number 3, drivers and blades can now switch in battle, and this is absolutely amazing. This is probably one of the biggest and most influential changes in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, because when you're fighting regularly in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, usually you fight with the driver and then the blade is giving you power, so you never actually take control of the actual blades unless you're doing one of the blade combos and you're pressing the button challenges to get the excellent and all of that. Then yes, you take control of them, kind of, not really, because you're just doing a button challenge, so it's like a quick time event. But with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, you can actually fight as Jin, you can fight as the blades, and you can fight as the drivers. You can switch between them. There's a lot of cool strategies that you can employ. For example, you can break somebody with Laura and then you can topple them with Jin. So that is built in right to the different teams that you do have, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they connect breaking, toppling, launching, and smashing, and who has those combos, who you have to switch to in order to get those. Another thing to note is that with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country, you're really only going to be using a few different characters and blades. So the driver blade chemistry and what you do in the game and how you fight is going to be a big part in your strategies and how you just play the game compared to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And while there's less overall, which we'll talk about when it comes to strategies and blades, I think it's a lot better because you can switch between the two. You can actually fight as the blade, which is something that I actually wanted to do with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's really cool to see Mithra and Pyra and all the cool blades give the energy and the button combos, but it'd be cool to slash it up with them as well. You can do that in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country. Number 2, drivers can now equip weapons, so it makes sense, right? If your driver and your blade can also switch between combat, it makes sense that your driver also has weapons as well. Now in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you use the weapon that your blade has. So whatever weapon your blade is formed with after the core crystal, you use that weapon, and then the blade gives you the energy during that. And then during button challenge, you might throw the weapon to your blade and your blade will attack with it, and you guys will kind of go back and forth attacking. Not the case with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country. In this one, your driver actually has weapons. You can equip, you can swap out, and you can attack and do different things based on those weapons and what you have. It just creates a whole new dynamic to gameplay because not only are you looking out and seeing what weapon that your blade has, but your driver also has weapons as well, which makes sense. I love the fact that they added in, and if you combine that with some of the other things that I've talked about, switching between the two. You also have aux cores being able to be taken advantage right there on the fly. Now drivers actually have weapons and can do different attacks and different driver combos and things based on what weapons they're equipping. That creates a whole nother layer of refined gameplay that we haven't seen in a Xenoblade Chronicles game to date. Number 1. No more core crystals. This is probably the best change from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because if you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it had this really kind of a gotcha type of system with core crystals to where you get a core crystal, right? And then you go to an awakening screen, you open up that core crystal and you're trying to get something rare. You're trying to get like a rare blade, and most of the time it's just common blade after common blade after common blade. And that is built into a lot of the side quests, it's built into the Merc missions, and it can get kind of grating and tedious at times if you let it consume you, that is. But just trying to get Cosmos and just trying to get all of the blades in the game, all of the rare blades that is a little bit of a challenge, even when you're farming legendary core crystals with maxed out luck and everything. Now they did make some adjustments from what I understand with New Game Plus in order to make it a little bit easier, and like the pity system that they do have in the game. So they did do that. That was found out. So I think people are having an easier time getting all of the blades, not at this point than back when the game first launched, but still I just think it's a mechanic that just got tiring really quickly. It was cool at first, but then it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this system and all these different blades. I have like a million different common blades in my inventory. I need to start releasing all of them. It just takes up time. It just takes up a lot of time, and it's just something that necessarily I'm not fond of after looking back at the game. However, with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country, that is all gone. You have your driver, you have your couple blades that you can switch from, and that's that. You have a number of different characters that you can use. I know that Adam, they showed off him in your party. You're going to be able to get Hugo, who is the reigning emperor of Mort Ardain, who looks just like the one in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You're going to be able to use Aegeon and also Bridget as well. So you have your people, you have their blades, they're all rare, they're all powerful. It's to you how to customize them and just fight. So the game is all about the battle system, it's all about the story, and it's all about customizing and equipping and fighting the way that you want to fight, and not worrying about core crystal after core crystal after core crystal. So fantastic addition. I do like getting cool different rare blades and everything. I just wish that they made the system like after you do certain important missions or maybe a side quest, you get like a rare core crystal and then you open it from there. I wasn't the biggest fan of all of the Merc missions and doing stuff like that and tying all of that into the game. That's the type of stuff that we really don't need, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's cool, I get it, I liked it at first. I think that it's not a bad thing overall, but I just think that it could have been handled a bit better. And with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country, they're just doing it to where it's like the old school with Xenoblade Chronicles X. You have the web of people that you can talk to, you have different side quests you can take, and that's really where you build up and do different things, and then you just have your team set of certain certain blades and rare blades that you can use. So it's awesome on that front. However, I did want to mention one more thing here, guys. You can play this game straight up. It is a standalone, so you don't necessarily need to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in order to play or get into Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country. I recommend playing that one first if you are still in the middle of the game. Beat the game before it launches. But if you haven't played any of them, you can pick it up with Torna the Golden Country because this game is a prequel. It's set 500 years before the events of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So you can play that one and then head into Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and play the game as well and still have fun. There'll just be some things that you already know based off of what they're like, well, what about Adam and all these different things in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So what do you guys think about all the different big changes for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access also to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace!